And as far as the mentorship, is it really make a huge difference for someone? Because I feel like being a realtor is probably super intimidating and not really know where to start, and there's always competition, and if you haven't sold anything, you haven't got any trust, you haven't got any record, how do you kind of help people with
one
that?
of the biggest hurdles, take somebody, like, it's very common here in Vegas, cocktail waitress, bartender, especially during COVID, getting out, I got to do something, I want to do real estate. Now, what the problem is, a lot of people, now they're working for tips and everything, but they're really order takers at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So when they come into real estate, it's transitioning out of that. You're no longer an order taker. You're a salesperson. You're going to be learning. It doesn't stop at school. It doesn't stop at your 120 hours now. So once that 120 hours is done, you take a doctor or lawyer, it's continuing education for years and years and years. Real estate's the same way.
Gotcha.
You got to come in with that mindset. I'm not an order taker. I got to perfect my craft. I got to get better every day. Me, myself, I spend $100,000 a year on.
What do you love about real estate?
It's transitioned since I've gotten into real estate. When I first got in, somebody convinced me to do it here in Vegas. So as an old friend, they're like, Johnny, you were built for real estate. You've done timeshare, you've sold cars, you're in the insurance business.
Were you naturally good at sales, or was that something you developed?
Wasn't natural. My first sales job was working at a car dealership, and I was early 20s. So I didn't know what to do because I went to school to be a body man. I decided I didn't like it after a year and a half.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, you got the gift of gab, go out and sell cars. I started at the one side of this strip in Vineland, New Jersey, put an application in at 30 places. Nobody wanted to give me a job. They're like, you're young, you're a kid.
No experience.
No experience. Till this one guy, Tom at Nissan, he's like, I'll hire you. I was like, all right. So I came in. First 2 weeks, I just was sinking like the Titanic. I'll never forget this night. It's Friday night. I go out with these clients, come back, clients leave. Tom's like, hey, what happened to those clients? I said, they told me they'll think about it. They'll call me tomorrow. And he ripped me a new one. And the finance manager liked me, this other guy, I can't remember his name, but I remember what he did. So he came and got me. He's like, look, you're a good looking kid. People like you, but you can't close. That's your problem. You get people loving you. He handed me this book, How to Close Every Sale by Joe Girard.
Okay.
And he says, I read that book over the course of the weekend. I came back and I went to the number 2 salesperson in that dealership for the next 9 months until I left to the next dealer. So
What do you mean by that?
So ranked number 2.
Oh, so it's just that book and that weekend.
Yep, that's it.
It's funny.
Self-development.
It's funny. It doesn't take much, right?
No, it doesn't.
You like Brian Tracy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's huge on that, right? He has
Yep.
a really good sales, and how he got good at sales was read, and then talk to people who are better than him.
Yeah.
Did you get yourself a mentor at an early age as far as sales or you did it more organically yourself?
In the beginning stages, no, I didn't have one. I grew up on the East Coast in New Jersey. That's where my sales career started.
Yeah.
And I feel in New Jersey, we are like here on the West Coast, people are running businesses, doing something bigger, better. You don't see as much of that.
Really?
So
Okay.
mentorship, it's not like surrounding you. I'm sure if you really knew to look for it or
Yeah.
went in that direction, you're gonna find it. But I wasn't running across it.
Okay.
I definitely wasn't. I'd probably do much better throughout my car business career if I did have some kind of mentor. But guys in the car business, I crushed the car business. Car business, you're slinging metal, then drinking beer at the bars every night.
Gotcha.
That's what you're surrounded by. There's times I go home and I'm reading through my script. That's why I tell our agents all the time, you may feel funny doing it at home by yourself, but just go through it. Get familiar with the words leaving your mouth.
Yeah, it's like you can't expect to nail something unless you've learnt to nail it, right?
Yeah.
You can't just, with sales, if you hesitate, you stutter, it's not real, right?
Exactly.
People see straight through it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If
Yeah.
you go to buy anything and guys stuttering and losing his words and not sure, it's just you have no confidence. You're buying a product.
And people see straight through it, right?
Regardless how big or small it is, maybe it's a watch, maybe it's a car, maybe it's clothing. But if it's somebody that's like not on their game, you usually have no confidence in the product. Yeah.
What's being sold to? So you're such a good salesman. You understand how when someone sells to you, how do you give them respect if they're good at it? How do you kind of play with them a bit?
You know what?
I can see that smoke
Yeah.
on your face.
A friend of mine always tells me, is like, salesmen are the easiest sale in the world, and they said, Johnny, you just buy everything. And if it's a good salesperson, I actually want to buy the product because he
That's
did,
what I'm
he
getting
did a
at.
good job.
Because you're giving them respect.
Yeah.
You know they put the time in.
Yeah. So our car
Yeah.
business, I remember I went to the dealership, one of them. I was going to walk out with a Land Rover. So got in there and I said, you know, what is this? Is this a turbo model or whatever it was? He's like, I'm not sure. I'm like, okay, is this the sport version? I'm not sure. Driving down the road and I'm like, you know, do you have a black one? This is a white one. I'm not sure. And I went in there with an intention to leave with a car, and I didn't.
Because of that
Yeah,
guy.
I did. I'm just like, you know, this
Gotcha.
makes no
And
sense.
unfortunately, he's never going to know that. That's
Yeah.
why either.
Yeah.
You name it. I've done everything. And it's like I'm struggling now because nothing really excites me.
Yeah.
And it's not even a money thing. It's like I've done it all. I'm like, what's next? Do I
Yeah.
need I haven't skydived yet. Is that what it's going to take to get
Yeah,
that?
right?
And I hate saying it aloud, but that's the way I feel. Nothing is really like,
Really charging you up.
yeah, I love doing this. I love doing this. I love picking people's brains. I love having good conversations because it's so hard to have a conversation if someone's not making excuses, pointing the finger. Hey, it's my parents' fault I'm overweight.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I love having
Yeah.
these conversations with people who I inspire, who I want to be like.